Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode of A Dog's Soul. I'm Anita, I'm your host and a professional dog trainer. I specialize in fear, aggression, and most of all, first-time dog owners. That's kind of new, but I love first-time dog owners. So if you have a puppy and it's your first one, awesome. All right. So we are gonna talk about a very sensitive topic, I know, and I'm gonna try to explain the dog's point of view. So this time it's all about what you can do when your dog growls at you. So stay tuned and have fun. Alright, so first of all, I get that it's very scary when your dog growls at you. And most dog owners, or most people, it doesn't have to be the owner, are very startled when this happens the first time. And that's natural, that's absolutely okay, and it happens to all of us. And the natural reaction when we are getting growled at is to take away our hands and take a step back. And that's exactly what you should do. So, show's over. No. Yeah, our natural instincts sometimes are really the best way to go. And what we hear very often is that we cannot allow growling, and the dog's trying to dominate us or whatever, and this is a no-go, and a growling dog is aggressive, and blah blah blah. So yeah, first of all, I want to look at why dogs are growling. To make one thing very clear, growling is a form of communication, and a dog who growls is safer than a dog that doesn't. You'll see why in a few minutes. So, why does your dog growl? There could be a gazillion reasons, and we're not gonna go through all of them. I'm gonna look at the emotion behind all of it. And the growling, yes, there is something called play growl, and that's not what we're talking about. Of course, some dogs growl while they're playing, and this is nothing to be worried about. It's just the way they play. But the growling we're talking about is the one that says, please, leave me alone, go away, I'm not comfortable with this, don't push me. And yes, that's what your dog is telling you. Your dog is very clearly saying no to whatever you're doing. So it is a warning, yes. And yes, your dog is allowed to warn you, because our dogs give us so many tiny little signals, and sometimes we just overlook some of them. Sometimes a dog is startled and skips a few. Sometimes a dog has just learned that tiny signals doesn't give him any form of release, so he has to be more clear. And it doesn't matter in the first place, because yes, you have to look at the situation and you have to try to see these little signals so that your dog doesn't have to growl. And that's the only way we are keeping your dog from growling. We are not punishing him for it. We don't try to just stop it because your dog doesn't have to do that. Your dog isn't allowed to do that, or something like that. So what we are going to do is that we take the necessity to growl away from your dog. So in other words, your dog has to feel more comfortable in the given situation and therefore doesn't have to growl, because he's comfortable and he doesn't have to tell you to go away. Of course, if there is a history of punishment behind all of this and your dog has just learned that any kind of warning results in punishment, he will no longer growl, but he will bite. And that's very dangerous. And that's the reason why we do not punish dogs for growling. So what you can do is, whenever you see your dog growling at you, trust your instinct, take a step back, increase distance, give your dog space. And look at the situation from as much of an objective perspective as possible. So try not to feel hurt or rejected by your dog. It's nothing personal. It's just he's not comfortable in the situation, and maybe he hasn't been in your household very long, or he just hasn't had a lot of experiences with these kind of situations or something like that, or he's just startled and he doesn't quite know how to behave or what to expect, and therefore he just tells you, hey, please back off a little bit, I cannot deal with this right now, and that's okay. Whenever you find yourself in a situation with your dog where he's clearly uncomfortable, you can try to assess the situation and try to find out what's causing the behavior. So maybe your dog has some kind of resource like a chew bone or a toy or something like that, and he doesn't know that he can trust you around it, and therefore he growls. All right. So then you can work on resource guarding. Maybe your dog has had a nightmare and he wakes up and he doesn't quite know where he is for a moment, and therefore he just growls. Then you can work on soothing stuff, telling your dog it's okay and things like that, so he can find himself more easily and feel comfortable again. And maybe this happens during some kind of husbandry work, like you're trying to clip your dog's nails or brush his teeth or pull a tick out or something like that. And again, this is just information your dog is giving you. So you know this is uncomfortable for him, and you can try to see how you can create a more comfortable situation for the both of you, and of course a safe environment. And all three of those things are very, very common, and at least for resource guarding and for husbandry work, I would definitely recommend talking to a trainer, because we bring a new perspective into the whole situation, and we can assess what's going on, maybe see a little bit more because we are outsiders and because we're trained to do so, and we can help create a new situation and create a new routine where your dog can feel comfortable with you treating him and where you can feel safe doing so. Because I know as soon as you get growled at, you lose a little bit of trust. And it's the same for your dog. As soon as he has to growl at you, there is some kind of threshold that you just overstepped. And for him, it's the same as for you. He will lose a little bit of that trust. And we have to get that back. And we have to build it up, and we have to get your dog to a place where he can trust you and where he knows nothing's happening to him, and you will tell him everything that's going to happen, and he will come out of it feeling great. And that's the only way those things can work and get better instead of worse. Because if you just wait and try to get your dog to just get comfortable with it, it's not going to happen. And whenever you try to, overpower him or dominate him, do whatever of these crazy things, it's gonna get worse. Maybe it gets better in the first place because your dog's shocked, but there will be a time where your dog cannot hold on to himself anymore. He cannot deal with it anymore. It's just no longer possible, and he will explode, and it will be worse. And it will be a lot worse, and it will be very dangerous. So don't do these things. Get a trainer who is really friendly with your dog too, and who can show you ways and methods and techniques that are really safe and fun and kind of game-like, because dog training should be kind of game-like. So you should have fun with each other. And that's why you got a dog. You wanted to have fun and not be growled or bitten or something like that. So yeah, to sum it up, you have been growled, and if you trusted your gut feeling, you took a step back and you took your hands away from your dog, and that was exactly the right thing to do. So congratulations, yay! And if you didn't because you were shock frozen, then that's okay too. So many people are. So everything's fine. Get help and start working with your dog. Get to a place where you can have fun again, and where also these boring day-to-day routine things like taking a tick out or something like that becomes fun again, and it becomes a game, and your dog does not have the necessity to growl at you anymore. Of course, if you have any questions about this topic or about anything else, you can write me an email or a WhatsApp, and I'll be happy to hear from you. And of course, if you want anything discussed in the show, let me know, and I'll take it into consideration. And that's it for today. I'd love to hear from you very soon, and until then, have fun training with your dog, and until next time, bye!